My wife tried to watch that show. Is it called the New Jersey Shore or is it Jersey Shore? And she said, she goes, I'm not trying to be funny, but I tried to watch 10 minutes and I felt myself getting dumber. I felt my view of the world getting angrier and dumber, and I couldn't make as many connections as I did, and she turned it off. Like, she got scared that it was making her dumb.
Well, I'll tell you the scary part. We were just talking about, reality stars and where we're heading. Mm-hmm. I did Leno's show on Monday.
Right.
And I was... Tim Allen was the guest.
Right.
And I was doing my monthly Jackass of the Month bit or whatever it is I do on that show, right?
Right.
And so now Snooki from the Jersey Shore, the sort of...
is that a he or a she? I don't know.
It's a chick. If you had a D cup and some spray on tan, I could easily pass you off as
I've only got a B cup.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got to work on that. Anyway.
Yeah. So... she was on the 10 for 10 that he does.
What's that?
You ask a celebrity 10 questions.
Right.
And when they do the roll-in for 10 for 10, you see Barack Obama and Matt Damon and, Helen Keller. It's fucking nuts. Yeah. And then there's Snooki.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there as a performer, and I'm not normally I understand, look, Tim Allen's, in other words, I'm a contributing guest on the show, but I'm not a guest on the show. You know what I mean? Tim Allen is the guest on the show. Yeah. But I'm not, I haven't earned the 10 for 10 status yet either, and I'm just sitting there in my dressing room staring at Snooki up on my monitor. By the way, and before she went on, I was just sitting there and I was thinking, well, this is awesome. You've been on Letterman multiple times. You've been on Leno multiple times as the guest. You've had, hit TV shows and syndicated radio shows, and you basically have to wait till Snooki is done before you can go on and dance like a monkey.
You have to wait till Snooki is done. You have to wait till they're done finding out how smart is Snooki before you get to go out and do your thing.
And
it's not so much that you're waiting on Snooki. Yes. You're waiting on them testing Snooki.
Well,
for something.
Snooki was not interesting and not entertaining, and it was this sort of weird. I mean, it became entertaining just in a sort of from a train wreck standpoint. But Jay was like, Snooki, what is your favorite junk food? What is your favorite, I don't know, drive-through or what is your favorite fast food or junk food? And she said, a pickle. And Jay was like, well, I don't really think that's considered junk food.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I like pickles. And he said, well, I think that's a cucumber that's just been brined or something. And she's like, well, I don't know about cucumbers, but I like pickles. And I realized, but here's what I realized. Not only was Snooki not funny, not only did I have to deal with the sort of New World Order of, again, I understand. I'm not Ben Affleck, and I'm not an A-list celebrity, but I've been around for 15 years.
And also around working at what you do and trying to be better at it.
Right. And
during those 15 years,
I have to wait till the 22-year-old whore from the Jersey Shore is done. But here's what I realized also. She was horrible, and why should she be anything but horrible?
Right.
She's a 22-year-old from Jersey with a GED, and yet Snooki in our New World Order gets to go on before me because
that's what you're.
She's Snooki.
But that's a really sinister phrase you're using there, New World Order, because earlier you said you were talking about Snooki goes out, and then you paused and you said it was entertaining in a train wreck kind of way. All right, I think that phrase said in that inflection, that has been the last decade. We've been so beaten down by the bad entertainment we've been given that now we've made a deal with whatever awful reality stuff gets put out so that we go, well, I guess in a train wreck, because we can't admit that I just wasted an hour watching this stupid reality show.
Right.
So then people have to go, yeah, it's good in like a train wreck kind of way.
Right.
You're not excusing the performers. You're excusing yourself for watching it.
Right.
You're trying to make up a reason that it was valuable for you.
Yes.
Where you can't just go, I could have talked to a friend. I could have read a book. I could have listened to an album I've never listened to.
Could have watched Gail Sayers talk about 18 inches of daylight for the 25th time that day.
Exactly. But instead, I watched a bunch of idiots that are.
I watched Khloe Kardashian go shopping.
Exactly. And I just watched rich people problems for an hour.
Right.
And then and then to justify that, I go, yeah, it was in a train wreck way. It was good. So like that phrase, it was entertaining in a train wreck kind of way. That to me is like that's the anthem of the defeated.
Yeah.
Not the entertainers or the reality stars. The audience, they're so defeated. They just go, yeah, I guess you're just.
Well, we're at a new stage where we're at this point in our society where we used to go watch an entertainer because the guy was a great juggler, and this guy could juggle 8 bowling pins at once.
Yes, they could do something that we can't do.
Now we go watch a guy who's the world's fucking worst juggler.
Yes.
He can't do 2 balls. It's embarrassing. You got to see how shitty this guy is at juggling.
I remember there was a thing, Roger Ebert wrote this in a review of some movies years ago, but he said there was a time that there were certain things that people would only do in the privacy of their own home, like, crazy acts and whatever. And that now those same things, people will only do them if they're being filmed and paid for it.
Right.
There's no other reason to do, like,
right.
It isn't even that people don't have a sense of shame. They have this creepy sense of shrewdness.
Right.
Like, why would I stick that up my ass if no one's going to film me? I don't know why I gave that poor guy a southern accent, but it just seems that, I don't know why we just don't
if you did it like Kelsey Grammer, it wouldn't track.
Why don't we just build a huge reality TV infrastructure up along the northern states, and then just have the South just be the feeder for because they just seem to exploit people. Like, look, they're poor and don't have access to education. Let's film them.
Right.
And that is this mean, just everything.
Well, yes. I mean,
it's like so gross.
You take 15 women with no education who probably should be on meds, and you put them in a house and have them vie for the love of a guy who's wearing a clock and around his neck, and of course the hair pulling and the fights ensue, and then it gets sort of glorified.
And also what's really weird is every now and then a reality show will come along, like a Project Runway or a Top Chef, that is actually based on merit, and you're actually watching skilled people that are doing stuff that you can't do, and those are wildly popular.
Yeah, but in
people,
the clips of those, it's the person breaking down and crying and saying, I don't know how to use a wok anymore!
Yeah, but at least those shows are about the untalented or the smug amateur getting weeded out for the people that quietly, like you just said, you put in 15 years and I learned my trade, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to that?
Well, it's going to have to wait until Snooki is done.
But
through her 10 at 10.
And I guarantee you some other, lumpy slut's going to take her place. There is some weird, hunched over slut living under a mountain like Gollum right now that's just waiting for Snooki to drink herself into a Dr. Drew show, and then she's going to go take her place.
No, I know, and, it's like, what choice? I wasn't
And by the way,
offended.
I love Dr. Drew, but with the Dr. Drew show, now there's no way out. There's no like, drinking or fucking yourself out of showbiz. There will always be a show for every level of your success or failure as a reality douche.
Yes.
The whole infrastructure is there. You never have to leave television.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, the next one is just going to be called Crematorium. Celebrity Crematorium. And so Snooki goes from the Jersey Shore to Dr. Drew to the dark sleep to the crematorium where we have them earn the urn.
This season, see who earns the urn, and then they just brrr.
Yeah, there's Daniel Baldwin's corpse wrestling with Snooki's corpse to see who gets the free urn, and the immunity challenge. It's going to be awesome.